English newscast here on Future Television. I'm Linda Tamima. These are today's headlines. Parliament Speaker Nabih Berri lashes out at what he calls an orchestrated campaign against the Parliament over the emerging differences over the endorsement of the new wage hike. Prime Minister Saad Hariri says the border town of Arsal is passing through a difficult stage, promising the government will work to redevelop the town. And security forces at Orly Airport in Paris shoot dead a man who took a weapon from a soldier. Parliament Speaker Nabih Berri has lashed out at what he called an orchestrated campaign against the Parliament over the emerging differences over the endorsement of the new wage hike. A statement released by Berri's press office quoted the Speaker as saying, "The purpose is to obstruct the debate on the electoral law and the elections too," and added that discussions were underway to agree on a new vote law. The Speaker accused what he described as banking mafias of seeking to impede the funding of the $800 million new wage hike. He added that priority was for rivals to reach a new vote law that will govern the upcoming parliamentary elections. Berri also revealed that a parliamentary investigation committee will be appointed to uncover corruption and put the corrupt on trial, stressing that the new salary scale draft law and the 2017 state budget will be ratified. Prime Minister Saad Hariri says the northeastern border town of Arsal is passing through a difficult stage, adding that the government will work to redevelop the town. During a meeting with a delegation from the town, Hariri said the government is exceptionally concerned with meeting the demands and needs of Arsal, which is dealing with the repercussion of the ongoing Syrian refugee crisis. He said the influx of refugees has exceeded Arsal's capabilities, adding it has been targeted by more than one side. Hariri praised the unity and patience of the people of Arsal, who have thwarted all attempts to destabilize the town. He also unveiled his government's plan to increase the attachment of the people of Arsal to their land and provide them with means to meet their needs. The Lebanese army has referred a suspect to the judiciary on charges of belonging to the extremist group Daesh. Palestinian Ahmad Ghadban was detained on charges of seeking to carry out bombings in an area in Lebanon, according to the army. No further details were provided. Moving on to Syria, rebel fighters and their families have begun leaving their bastion in the city of Homs under an evacuation deal with the government expected to be among the largest of its kind. The first few buses carrying rebels and their families drove out of Al-Wair district this morning, heading for rebel-held areas northeast of Aleppo city. Talal Barazi, the Homs governor, said about 1,500 people would depart for Aleppo's countryside, including at least 400 fighters. Russian and Syrian forces are overseeing the evacuation. Coming up next, U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is in China to discuss North Korea. Stay tuned for the details. Welcome back. Arab League Secretary General Ahmad Abul Ghait, UN Special Envoy Martin Kobler, Chairperson of the African Union Commission Moussa Faki, and EU Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini have met in Cairo to discuss solutions to the Libyan political situation. Libya is still far from stable. In fact, two governments are vying for power in Tobruk to the east and Tripoli to the west, and the country remains mired in factional fighting and lawlessness. This has led to a surge in the arrival numbers of African migrants via the Mediterranean, which are already higher than last year. The French Interior Ministry says security forces at Orly Airport in Paris have shot dead a man who took a weapon from a soldier. The man who attempted to take the gun was the sole victim. Luckily, no other person was injured in the incident. Witnesses say the Orly South terminal was evacuated following the shooting this morning. French Interior Minister Bruno Le Roux is due to visit the facility. Rex Tillerson has arrived in Beijing for his first face-to-face talks with Chinese leaders, expected to focus on North Korea's nuclear program. The U.S. Secretary of State's visit follows his remarks the previous day in South Korea, where he cautioned that preemptive military action against North Korea might be necessary, warning the country to end its missile and nuclear programs. Tillerson says his country and China will work together to get nuclear-armed North Korea to take a different course, softening previous criticism of Beijing after talks with his Chinese counterpart.
And we've committed ourselves to do everything we can to prevent any type of conflict from breaking out. And we view there are a number of steps that we can take that are in front of us. And Foreign Minister Wang has agreed that we will work together to see if we cannot bring the government in Pyongyang to a place where they want to make a different course, make a course correction, and move away from their development of their nuclear weapons. But it is with a certain sense of urgency that we both feel because of the current situation that we have on the peninsula. The United States and China are the world's two largest economies, and we must both promote stability and growth. Our two countries should have a positive trading relationship that is fair and pays dividends both ways, and we will be working on that going forward.
A small group of police-helped residents in Carapongo, Peru, north of the capital city of Lima, where devastating flooding has caused widespread destruction. About half of the country is in a state of emergency after torrential rains wreaked havoc in a freak weather pattern that has unleashed the deadliest downpours in decades. Landslides and raging rivers have swept people away, wrecked houses and highways, and destroyed crops in potential sign of a global El Niño. At least 62 people have died and more than 70,000 have become homeless, as Peru's rainy season reportedly delivered 10 times as much rainfall than usual. A social media campaign aiming at delivering humanitarian aid to famine-hit Somalia through a Turkish Airlines flight has gone viral with backing from celebrities and people across the world. After being initiated with a tweet by Jerome Jar, the French social media celebrity, on Wednesday, the Twitter hashtags Turkish Airlines Help Somalia and Love Army for Somalia have taken on a snowballing effect, with support from a group of celebrities, including actor Ben Stiller. The group started an online funding campaign to raise money to finance food aid, while asking Turkish Airlines, the only company that flies to Somalia, to deliver the aid to the East African country suffering from drought and famine. And on that note, we end our bulletin for today. Now for a quick recap of our top story. Parliament Speaker Nabih Berri lashes out at what he calls an orchestrated campaign against the Parliament over the emerging differences over the endorsement of the new wage hike. Prime Minister Saad Hariri says the border town of Arsal is passing through a difficult stage, promising the government will work to redevelop the town. And security forces at Orly Airport in Paris shoot dead a man who took a weapon from a soldier. Those are your headlines for this Saturday. I'm Linda Tamim signing off.